about that. You
know, no, we don't think about that. Hey, we think about racing though, and trying to make sure we are on live. Hey, good evening, everyone. Green flags out on the Go Fast podcast, and we love talking racing in November, don't we, guys?
Oh yeah.
and I always do this because I always forget to do it before we go on. But you basically got to suck on that microphone, Kyle.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you didn't know. You didn't know. But hey, we are on live along with Brett Severson. I'm Rob Hinckley. Kyle Hawkins joining us with us. Also, one of the area's best in the sport compact, four-cylinder, whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk a lot four-cylinder racing tonight, and what a fantastic season. Also, we want your opinion on your driver of the year. We've done this off and on, and we're not really going to announce one. And we talked and went before, but your thought on driver of the year for 2020. I think Kyle Hawkins has to be in that conversation, don't you think?
I would go along with that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Definitely in the top 5. So give us your opinion on the Facebook page, on the Done Right Facebook page. And who do you think was the area driver of the year? We did this once before and had some good good opinions. Had Jeff Ike in there and all that. So check it out. And Brandon Dahl's on. We have to be kind now, don't we?
I owe a lot of this year to that man right there. He really took me under his wing and put me in the positions that I was in to even compete. I believe last year I had that Eclipse and it was not competitive at all. And he watched me down in Memphis and was kind of giving me pointers last year. And it went from there. I ended up buying the Sentra off him, and he started slowly giving me more pointers. So
surprised they didn't make you put anything orange on there. I mean, they were always orange something.
For sure. We're gonna talk a lot more. Want to go through our normal stuff here. Also, 2021. What's going to happen? We'll talk about that. And so, with what's going on in our country this past week, let's just sit back, have some fun, talk some racing, and we'll go from there. We start out with news and results like we always do. Team Done Right. The Roberts Motorsports cars. The late model season is over. Of course, championship MLRA 2021 Lucas Oil MLRA preliminary schedule is out today. 27 events, 12 venues, 6 states. As far as I know, they're going to run it again. But shoot, when you're rookie of the year and champion in the same season, then what do you do?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to run it, but it's also hard not to go to the next level either.
Next level. Well, and a lot of the events will be right around here. The season will start off April 8th through 10th at Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland, the 8th annual Spring Nationals. Then they come and they're going to run that 2-day Iowa deal with Stewart on April 14th, and then there'll be a Davenport on April 15th, $5,000 to win at Davenport. Then the Slocum 50 is going to move to Sunday, April 17th, and they're going to run a prelude to the Slocum on Saturday, April 16th. So 34 Raceway will be part of that weekend as well. So they'll be at Stewart on April 14th, Davenport on April 15th, and then down at Burlington at 34 Raceway on April 16th and 17th. 2 complete shows topped off by the annual Slocum 50 with over $10,000 to win there. They're back at Davenport on May 14th, West Liberty May 15th, and then they'll be back at Farley on July 2nd, 300 Raceway up there. And then Burlington, they ran that kind of deal kind of last year where they went Farley, Burlington, and then the Bull Ring not on the schedule, but they'll be at Farley on July 2nd and Burlington on July 3rd. And a race that moves over to the Lucas Oil MLRA series, and I'm glad to see it. It was always one of my favorite races going to back in the 70s and the 80s, the Gopher 50, which back then was run at in Owatonna, Minnesota, and now it's at Deer Creek Speedway. But the Napa Auto Parts Gopher 50, now a Lucas Oil MLRA race, and I'm glad to see it. Then the season will round out with the championship weekend, October 14th through 16th at Tri-City in Pontoon Beach, Granite City. But always been Granite City.
Yeah, always going to be Granite
It's always been Granite City, but Pontoon Beach. So looking forward to that. Also, Team Done Right, Tyler Soppe won at Davenport in the Sport Mods on Saturday night. Ran well down at CJ on Friday at Davenport. Saturday at CJ, he ended up third in the feature after winning his heat. And we throw Ryan Walker in there. He's part of Team Done Right. He's an employee at Kelly. Kelly's got 9th at Davenport on Friday, 5th after winning his heat at CJ on Saturday. So
And those were both out of style. I mean, there was 32, I think, at Davenport Friday and 51 at Columbus Junction on Saturday.
Crazy.
So just even being that show was a win. So
absolutely. Some other news breaking on the Dunright.TV side. Dunright.TV has been signed by the annual Turkey Nationals at Diamond Park Raceway in Nashville, Arkansas. We will be down there on November 28th. So we will have the Turkey Nationals from Diamond Raceway Park in Nashville, Arkansas on November 28th.
Where's Nashville, Arkansas?
That is in the southwest corner, basically, of Arkansas, almost to Texas.
The warmer part of Arkansas.
Yes. Yeah, that's why they're running November 28th.
All right.
I made sure that. I said, you have a dome or what? No, it's outside. So, but I talked to Justin and on that today. And so looking forward to being down in Nashville, Arkansas on the 28th. Let's see, car counts, 130 at Davenport for the last second race put together, 130 or so Friday night, 146 Saturday down at CJ and down at Hendry County Motorsports Park in Clewiston, Florida. We had a grand total of 107. So saw a lot of race cars over the weekend. Well,
one thing I'll say about the Davenport Columbus Junction, I was actually just looking through Columbus Junction's results, and it was not a lot of the same guys. So, I mean, there were a lot of guys that did go to both, but Columbus Junction had a lot of guys that Davenport didn't have. So there's still a lot of cars that could have come to both. So, I mean, those numbers could have been 200.
No doubt about it. We had 102, I believe, Friday night, and then 99, I think, but 107 different cars over the weekend down at Hendry County Motorsports Park in Florida. A couple other things coming up. November 28th, race car parts auction put on by Clemens Auction Company will be up at Dubuque. Doug Clemens, Greg Castley, the Welders, all part of that. It starts at 10 a.m. That's again, Thanksgiving weekend, Saturday, November 28th. Free admission. There will be door prizes. If you need more information, go to auctionzip.com. That's auctionzip.com on that. And thanks, Jacob Welder, for sending me the info on that. Kelly right now is still down in Florida, caught in Tropical Storm Ida. I haven't talked to him today. I'm guessing he's okay.
Yeah, I talked to him about an hour or so ago on the book, and he's still alive. So
good. Yeah, he sent out a video today, and
is that what the video was? Was of like it was just nothing but lightning? I'm watching this like, what is this?
It was rain sideways, and I've been in plenty of tropical storms when I was down there, so he got to do his first tropical storm. Also, nothing new really about the bull ring at the Rock Island County Fairgrounds. A lot of things in the works. Just can't announce details at this time, but keep it right here. You'll be the first to know on the Go Fast podcast. Time now to go around the track, around the room, get takeaways on the weekend, and then we're going to dive in with Kyle Hawkins, talk about the 2020 season, how the heck he has gotten to this point. And we were just talking about that off the air a little bit. So good story behind that. So just takeaways on the weekend. First of all, up here, guys, the weather.
Beautiful.
The weather, it still is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go with, I won't single out anybody from Friday night, because one of the things I noticed on Friday night is every feature that we had was a tight race. I mean, Kyle and Josh back and forth.
Battling.
In fact, one time I felt bad. I had to take the lead away from you
know,
on a
I was
caution.
like, no.
I hate how that works out, but we're not NASCAR. We can't freeze the field like they do.
I think you even said sorry, 28.
Well, I do try to,
like,
and most of the flagmen I work with, and Doug is good at doing this. He will try as hard as he can to get that lap in. So I don't quit writing, even if we don't score the lap. I don't quit writing until everybody's gone by.
Yeah,
and then I'll come back and say, okay, only 2 officially went by. I really can't do that.
Can't count it.
So, but yeah, and I'm like, then I do try to, I'm sorry, I got to take it back.
Well, and I thought I let it, but I went back on Dunright, and I'm like, no, he did have me on the top there, but I'm not looking out here, I'm going into the corner. So we'd come around and then caution him. Oh, I'm still all right. I'm still first. And then you're like, nope, sorry, I'm gonna have to put you back. I'm like, no, he already knows where I was running now.
and I gotta say, a lot of guys will give me that I'm number one when I have to move them back. You didn't do that. So. But all the racing, I mean, Spencer Dirksen, a modified, I had to send him back to the back early for the spin, and right at the end, he's in second place chasing the leader down. Hobby stocks, I mean, what can you say about the hobbies? Daniel Waters and Caden Reynolds. And then again on Saturday night, Daniel Waters, Caden Reynolds, and Jake Benechek coming down to the line. You know, it was the same at Davenport, coming down to the line. Modifieds were the same. Sport mods were the same for the most part. Once Tyler got up there, he kind of checked out, but just close racing in all of them. And it wasn't really, I mean, I don't remember where you started. I know Josh started up on the front, but the top five wasn't the top five at the beginning of the race. So there was movement, there was action in the tracks, and
close racing like that just makes it fun for everybody. Even me going back and watching, you know, because I don't watch all the races. I'm getting my car ready, so I go back and watch it. And the Daniel Waters race, oh my god, I was up in my living room like, whoa, you know, like, no way.
Well, and he had a repeat of that with Benechek down at.
Did he really?
Yeah, well, and they said that one was so close that nobody wanted to make the call on who won that one. So
who ended up getting that one?
Benechek.
Did he really?
Yeah, sure did.
Good job.
Right.
But
he was one of my takeaways on the weekend also, because he doubled up. He also won Sport Compact.
Yep.
Down at CJ. And then Jeff Ike had a good weekend.
Yeah, he did.
Both places.
But I will tell you, if the race at Davenport would either had one more caution or maybe 5 more laps, that might have been a different outcome. Because Spencer was coming. In fact, I said about 3 laps from the end, I nudged the guys around me. I said, there's going to be a race. You need to watch that, because that's going to be a race.
Well, he had to restart 24th or something like that, didn't he?
Yeah, and we couldn't give him the hard charger, even though he passed the most cars twice.
And one of my other takeaways on the weekend when we were down in Florida, 16-year-old Connor Morell, he's a great sprint car driver, started at age 5, and the quarter midgets worked up, picked up the big win Saturday night at Henry County Motorsports Park in the Sunshine Invitational sprint car race. 16 years old. He beat some of the best veterans out there, including Danny Smith. Wow. And he walked away with $3,500 on Saturday night. And that car was just flat cooking. That racetrack down there, it has if you look at it, on pictures or on video, it kind of looks weird because it's gray. And that's exactly what it looks like. It's a gray appearance. They get it. Obviously, there's sand in a lot of the racetracks down there, but they get the clay from the bottom of the river. They dredge the river right next to it, and that's the appearance.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, when I looked at the picture you posted, I thought it was asphalt for a minute. I was like, that doesn't even look dirt.
It doesn't. It doesn't look dirt, and it looks all sand, but it's clay from the bottom of the river near there. And I was going to look up the name of the river, and I forgot. But anyway, it good stuff, and it was tacky. I mean, you walk out on it even after the racetrack, and it sticks almost like asphalt.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty good.
Well, and I think Davenport, we had a real good surface. Yep. I mean, it looked, I only get to watch so much of the racetrack, so I don't know what goes on behind me. But I usually try, when I take off, I try to take a lap around it, and it felt fairly smooth. And you guys didn't look like you're bouncing around out there. So
no, it was beautiful. And that's Al, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he does awesome on the tracks.
I did hear, I probably shouldn't say this, but Ricky was telling me afterwards that Al kind of put a hole in one of the, I think it was 1 and 2. No, it'd been 3 and 4 with that box blade that they got. Somehow it got down too far and dug down. He's like, oops, pack it back in.
Oh, it happened, and he probably couldn't tell. I like Al's shirts. I think his nephew or something made it up at his screen printing company. So he's got shirts that say Dr. Dirt. And
Dr.
Stuff
Dirt.
like that.
Yeah, he is too.
Any other takeaways on the racing weekend for you guys?
I don't really have any, but I didn't get to Columbus Junction on Saturday, and Friday was, it was a great night of racing in my eyes. So
I was keeping track down there in Florida, and first thing I did when I saw you had 146 cars, I sent a message to Larry Richardson congratulating him, because in 4 years or 4 years or something, only the second time this event has run, and or 5 years. I think this was the fourth one.
This was the fourth, yeah.
This was the fourth, but only the second time that it actually got ran, and 146 cars and a great night. And Bipster was up in a man lift, and he does not like heights.
Oh, really?
Yes. I wish I could put the picture that he messaged me. It's kind of like a and so I messaged him back. I said, is that a look of accomplishment or a look of fear? And he says a little bit of both.
They're both.
He's like me. He doesn't like heights. But
yeah, me either.
And
now I'm glad I didn't make it down there, because I was going to go help him, and I was like, yeah, him and I in a lift together, probably.
That's great. And I kind of knew that was coming, and I didn't think about it, because when we were down there for the SLMR race, they had a man lift for Kelly, and when he was down there, and then they ended up getting rained out. But so anyway, there's our around the track, around the room takeaways on the weekend. Drivers of the week, and I have three. I got to go with Tyler Soppy for one. First of all, his team done right. Second of all, a win and a third over the weekend. Jeff Ike win at Davenport, and I think he got third or fourth somewhere like that down at CJ. And then Daniel Waters, man, what a weekend he had.
Daniel's on that list almost anytime he's racing anymore. So, but I'm going to go against you on the modifieds. I'm going with Spencer. I mean, there's nobody that can. No, I won't say nobody, but the list is short on who can come from 24th in a modified field. I mean, it's a stout field. It's not like there's slouches out there. So,
yeah, and you might feel bad for putting him back there, but any race car driver loves going back through the field too. You know, they at the time probably mad, but afterwards he was probably pretty
I feel
happy.
bad when I got to put anybody to the back because, you know, one of the things I hate is that cars and cars involved rule, because usually you're putting somebody that's innocent back there, but then you got to have a solid, yes, I saw this. So,
Yeah.
And that's hard to get. You know, I know people complain about it on the internet, but until you've stood down in that corner, it's a different view down there, and it's hard to see all 24 of them cars and see what all 24 of them are doing. So
it's crazy. It looked great. It was a great race. I watched the video of it, and just great racing all weekend. I haven't been able to watch all the video from both Davenport and CJ, but very impressed. I'm really missing out being up here this weekend, but we were really happy to be down in Florida as well.
You know, at first I was jealous of you guys because you guys got the weather, but we probably weren't that far off in weather from here to
we
Florida.
weren't, and the race we were at, they called it the inaugural Sunshine Invitational. We didn't have sunshine for 2 days down there. So, and with that tropical storm starting to roll in, and it was already hitting Central America and moving to Cuba, but we were already starting to get the clouds, and every once in a while a rain shower, and it was typical Florida weather. But they pulled it off, and Ken Kinney did a great job and his crew down there.
Well, we definitely got luckier than we did on the Enduro, I'm sure. Well, you were there too, yeah. I'm sure.
Was.
I was colder than we won't even
it
talk.
was cold.
That was a cold night.
I heard some of the drivers, and you probably didn't because yours was your normal race car, but some of the guys that build Enduro specific cars left the heated seats in. So Nick rolled in, and somebody had a heater. Maybe Justin Kai had his heater going.
Awesome. That's great. A lot of folks checking in already, and we appreciate it. And in fact, hey, Daniel Waters, buddy, great weekend. And Jeremiah Hurst, we see the MLRA schedule out, and hopefully you guys are going after two championships in a row. Cody Cleghorn says, great racetrack. I will definitely be back. Great. Hey, Scott, thanks for tuning in, buddy. And I just always call him Double Cheeseburger. What's his last?
Cheese Festal.
Festal. Okay, so the J silent. I thought so, but I just wanted to make sure.
But Double Cheeseburger works.
Yep, Double Cheeseburger. Scott Festal, thanks for tuning in. Blake Dotson, thank you, buddy, for everything that you've done up here racing. Destiny Smith, that's Jimmy Dutlinger's better half. Votes for Jimmy, of course, for sure. One of my picks for driver of the year. And it was a short season for him, but he had a great season wherever he raced in.
Yes, he did.
Kyle,
yes, he did. He
was
came up there, and he was definitely some competition for me. The first night he was out there, and I rewatched it, and he was coming, and then it was, I think the second weekend we were there, he ended up getting it. And I'm like, man, now I got competition up here.
Well, was that also the weekend that he didn't go to Tech and we had to take it away from him too? That's another one you feel bad on too.
That was at Davenport.
Yeah, that was
it's like, oh, I know I told you to go and you didn't go. And then I try to remind everybody when they're down in Victory Lane, hey, don't forget to go back. And
definitely. And Brandon, we saw that he had said best races Friday were the three lower classes. He said.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I mean, they were tight races. Everybody was back and forth. The stock cars was back and forth. You and Josh were back and forth. Obviously, the hobby stocks were back and forth. You didn't know who was going to be the winner until the flag came out. So
Zach Dominguez chimes in also. Kurt Kyle won the modifieds at CJ Saturday night, and that was a long time in coming for Kurt Kyle. So he says that was the best part, and agreed, Zach, on that one. Jerry Mackey, my fellow announcer, said both Friday and Saturday, great races, great crowds, awesome tracks. And now I have announced races in November times two. Yes, sir. and when I lived down in Florida, Jerry, I was able to put November, December, and January on mine, and so now I've announced all 12 months out of the season. And Brandon says again, Kyle's car was plenty hot by the end of his night at the Enduro. It was. We were toasting marshmallows and
you could have pulled it around front though, so we could have enjoyed.
Warmed up. Yep.
Oh man.
Absolutely. Jane Winger, thanks for time. Brad Cook, our buddy, also watching, and Tim Plummer. And Tim, I just enjoy watching you race, buddy. Come down from Norway and run these southeastern Iowa tracks, and so Timmy Plummer, thanks a lot for checking in. Speaking of driver of the year candidates, don't forget to chime in on Facebook with your driver of the year pick. But Brett Severson, Kyle Hawkins has to be in there.
He is, and discussion. One of the coolest nights that I had watching this guy race was the night that your brother won.
Yeah.
And you got to celebrate because I believe you were second that night chasing him.
Yep.
And the two of you, and somebody said they didn't know your brothers. Was like, hey, watch what's going on down here. I said, no. I said, I guarantee there's not going to be a fight down there.
What happened in Moline too? I think he got 1-2 at Davenport and 1-2 at Moline.
No, he didn't get one over there. He was actually saying
that was Brandon. That was Brandon. That was Brandon.
Yep,
you guys won, I think, on back-to-back weeks.
Yep, we did, and that was really fun. I think I ended up 7th, and he made the comment. He's like, "How do you get interviewed getting 7th?" I don't know.
Well, you came in and you were so happy and happy.
Well, and that's what was cool about it is you were just as happy, if not happier, that he won that race as he was. So, But that's cool when you can do that. I mean, I don't have a brother. I never raced with family or anything, but it's neat when you can do that.
That race was so much fun, and I told him too. I'm not a dirty driver, and I don't tend to be at all.
But you'll put the bumper to your brother, won't you?
Yeah, I told him. I said that's the only one you get that easily.
That ain't gonna happen again.
No,
well, and I've talked to the Voringer brothers, and they say, I will try to race everybody as clean as we can, but if it's Kyle, I'm talking. If Lane's in front of me, he's getting the bumper. And then Dad will separate us later.
Yeah, you can almost get away with that one a little more than when we went down to Peoria. We went down there to test my car, the silver one, because I was having problems with it for like 3 weeks in a row. And went down there to test it. And we kind of heard bad things about Peoria. The guys are a little rough. And we come in after the heat race, and I looked at Travis and said, I think we're the roughest guys here. I don't know how many times we bounced off each other. He come in and got me sideways and got around me, and I got right back into him and was pushing him down the front stretch and had to let off. And it was fun. We had so much fun there, too. That was – and then we went into the feature, and those guys are they're different cars than ours. They can do different stuff.
Right.
So, and they race that track. So they were gone. I'm like, oh man, well, the car's fixed, but not as fixed as these guys.
Not as fixed as they are.
Excellent. Hey, Mark Clay's watching also. Mark, of course, part of the Nostalgic Stock Car Racing Club. I know they had a rules meeting yesterday, and I wish I could have been there, Mark. I was on my way back from Florida down at the Roadrunners. So, but they're getting things ready for 2021, and they put on some great shows over at East Moline this year. That was the only time I got to see them. But hey, talk overall about your 2020 season, Kyle. I thought it was amazing.
It's had its up and downs, man. Like I said, I had that Mitsubishi Eclipse and was fighting that, and then that car lit on fire. I don't know if you guys know that at Davenport. It went up in flames.
Did it really?
Yes,
no,
it did.
I don't remember that.
And Brandon and I were in the process of building the new one. And that was one busy week because we didn't have the cage in it, nothing.
Oh, wow.
And we had to hurry up and get that thing ready. We got it done in a week and got me back out there and got it out there, and we set the full exhaust on it. I mean, all the way out to the bumper, everything on that car. And I went out there and could not get up over 4,000 RPMs in that car. And I was like, man, what did I do? What car did I just get? And it ended up being a plugged exhaust system is what happened. And then went out to the bull ring that Sunday and took 4th. So just awesome with that car. And then got four feature wins in that car. And then when I was having all those problems, I went, and Brandon was getting ready to go hunting and stuff, wasn't going to be racing. So I ended up buying his car off of him and got that one out there. And that car is I cloned to my car. So just fast, screaming fast. Ended up winning the Governor's Cup with it, got a win there. And then at the Enduro, lit that one on fire too. I don't know. He told me to stop lighting cars on fire. I told him I'm not trying to do it.
Now, is that one gone, or is it going to be rebuildable?
It's not as bad as what we thought. It's just a wiring harness.
Okay.
But the back bumper started on fire. So we're trying to still figure out how
it went all the way back.
Yeah, we don't know if when Ben Dixon, I believe, is who blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If he got fuel on the track, and if somehow when I went over it, if my brakes sparked when I was going to stop and lit the track on fire, and that's what came up back to my car, because I still had a full tank of fuel, full oil. There's nothing that shows on
broke
the car
that should have started on
yeah,
fire.
No.
Amazing. So it probably came from another source then.
Yeah. And thinking about it, if I would have just moved out of the way, it probably would have been all right. But you don't think about that when you're on fire, man. The first thing I thought was getting out. So
I know you had 3 or 4 weeks, and you just kind of touched on it, where you just could the car would just die. You couldn't figure it out. And so what was that like going through that and getting it fixed? It
was very, very frustrating knowing that I had one of the fastest cars there and just couldn't get there. And it was, I don't usually hot lap because it's muddy and getting the car all muddy and stuff. It was hot lap, heat race, feature, the whole 3 weeks trying to get it figured out. And then we finally did. And when we figured it out, it ended up being the throttle body issue at first. And when I went and got the new parts for it, the sensors, they gave me the wrong mass airflow sensor. So a brand new part that was wrong is what ended up being it for like the last 2 weeks. And I had the part in my trailer that could have fixed it. And I was like, man, this whole time, and it would have been fixed.
Yeah.
So
what got you to the point of being able to figure it out?
The sounds that it was making kept telling us that it was mass airflow. And I kept saying, no, it can't be, it's brand new. And then I was like, well, brand new parts fail. And it took me actually taking the mass airflow sensor out and looking at it. And when I looked at it and put it next to the other one, they were different. And I was like, man, could it be the wrong one? So I put the new one in there, and that's when we decided to go to Peoria. And when we went to Peoria, it was fixed. It didn't miss, didn't do nothing. And I'm like, man, this whole time. And it just was that simple little part.
So instead of blaming it on the scorers like everybody else does, you're like, the damn parts guy?
Yeah, parts guy, man.
Damn parts guy.
Lisa Soppe, thanks for everything you guys do. Lisa, it's our pleasure. And we're so glad that Tyler's back up back up at the front and with his new Shaw and that kind of thing. So that's awesome. Middle of the season, you decided to get married.
Yes, we did.
That's great.
We waited a long time. I started my own business and stuff, and we were just so busy. And then we had 2 kids, and it just was never the right time to do it. And then finally, last year, we were like, you know what? It's gonna be 2020. It's kind of a cool date.
Who would have known?
Yeah, who would have known? And we ended up having to postpone it. It was May 30th. And because of the pandemic or whatever, we had to postpone it, which ended up working out pretty cool because now our date was 8/8/2020. So it was pretty cool. So
yeah, cool.
And I know the weekend before you were like, what, down Ozarks or someplace?
Yep. We went down there for the bachelor party, and my brother and Brandon were actually pretty excited because I wasn't going to be up here racing, and we ended up coming back on that Sunday so I could keep my points for East Moline. And I missed the season championship night at Davenport, where I was in 3rd, and I ended up falling back to 7th.
Oh my.
So next year, I told everybody, I said, next year, we can't have any plans.
Yeah, who plans weddings in the middle of racing?
We can't have any plans next year because I would like to run for points pretty competitive.
Well, I think you will be very, especially in that hobby stock.
Yeah.
Really? We're going to get
especially in the hobby stock. Yeah, breaking news.
We're going to get to that story here in a minute. That was great. And so how'd you talk your lovely wife into this type of thing?
To be completely honest with you, how we were talking about my dad being a race car driver and me growing up around it, I've always wanted to do it and could never find the time. Never thought I'd have the time to race. And she actually was pushing me to do it. And it was me that was always saying, no, it's not this year, not this year, not this year. And it actually took my brother to buy these 2 Eclipses. And then I ended up getting into it. Now I have all the time in the world to race and no time for nothing else. It's weird how that works. So So Hillary was actually the one to push me into racing. She said, do it. If that's what you want to do it. And she actually said, do it now before our kids are in sports.
I was going to say, because there will come a time where it's, and you're going to make that decision that you're going to want to be over there instead of over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just comes natural. I went through the same thing, or I went through the same thing. Yeah, as you take a look, and we were well. Let's talk about your businesses first. What do you got going business wise?
We've got Concrete Services Placing, which Hillary's the big one in that one. We've got our 2 pumps, a 47 meter and a 48 meter. And she's wanting to even get bigger. She wants to get a couple belts and all that good stuff. And then Aero Concrete, which is her dad's business. And I actually just a foreman for him now. We started, my dad and I started Fly By Night Transport. That's the big hawk on the hood. Mm-hmm. So I ended up going back and helping Chris at Aero to get it, to help him run it. He ends up wanting me to take it over. So that, and then I got Dad on Fly By Night, so he's pretty much him on his own over there hauling cars and stuff. So we got quite a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it sounds like it. We got some neat stuff, and and we appreciate it. So thanks Hillary and Kyle for sending Concrete Placing Services Placing apparel. We're going to give some of that away. If we don't get to it tonight, we got all winter to give it away. So we'll find ways of doing it. We got sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, everything. So we appreciate that again. Let's go back to the beginning. How did your love for racing start and all that?
My dad, man, I was 9 years old when he started racing, and just like my son is now, he's there. He does not miss a race. And if we tell him, it's going to be cold, you're probably going to go to grandma. No, he does not
going to grandpa.
No, he's going. and it's kind of weird because it's flip-flopped at home. My son's in the house and playing and stuff. And my daughter's actually out in the garage handing me tools and doing stuff. But when it comes to race night, that's boring. She says she wants to go to grandma's. So
you got a setup person and a crew.
Yeah,
you got your car chief, I guess they call it, and your crew chief.
And that's so yeah, I started with Dad and man, we it was a rough start with at first, and then he progressively got better, and it took Dad's first win, and I was in it. I was hooked. There's nothing like that. And then every week cheering, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
And Brett, you were saying you remember Chuck.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's when you came in tonight, I put it together over the weekend that when I raced before that. I had quit racing at that point in time, but I helped the guy get involved, and he raced in the same class. Bombers or what is
the cruisers?
Cruisers
Used to be called cruisers.
So I was kind of a part car owner with him. I owned the car, he owned the motor type of thing. But I remember Chuck, and he raced with Vern Cole and the Pratts and all those guys. We all pitted right in the same area.
Yep.
I can't remember his name, but there was another guy in a 25 car, Ryan something. But it was all just a group of guys.
He was a sport compact racer too, and went up to cruiser.
I can't remember his last name, but Brian is coming to mind on that. Brian Klein. There you go. Thank you. So yeah, and that was probably 05, 06, I think we were talking. So I've rubbed shoulders with your dad before. So
when did you get the itch to get your own car then?
I had it the whole time. I actually raced dad's street stock in mechanics race, and I think I was 14 or 15. I didn't have a driver's license yet. And I was actually leading, or no, I spun the car out twice. So I had to keep going to the back. And then on the third try, I was able to get the corner down, because that's a whole different thing. And once I got it down, I ended up going to the front and was lapping cars, going to lap, I'll never forget it, Doug Yates. He was the points champion at West Liberty. And his mechanic spun out in front of me, and I destroyed both cars. No. I couldn't even stop fast enough. And I took the whole front end off of my dad's car and his car. And then I can't remember the other guy's name, but he came up over the front of the hood, and I saw the hole underneath of his car. And I come back in the pits, and I ended up getting fourth. I still finished, which Dad was not very happy about, but he couldn't see. He was on the infield, so he saw the left side, well, the whole right side was on the ground. And he comes in, and my buddy, my best friend from way back, Nick, he goes, Chuck, he's like, driver's side's great. don't look at the
Don't look at the other
side. And he comes in, he's like, oh man.
So now was this at Tipton?
This
or
is at
Okay,
Tipton,
so
yep.
Tipton's kind of home to you too.
Yep,
So
yep. And then from there on, I was all for it. I did everything. I was pretty much Dad's only pick guy there for a while until the end. We had a couple other guys on there with us, helping out and stuff. But I did everything to putting transmissions in that car, to lifting a block up and setting it in so we could do the setback and all that stuff, and to grinding tires. I was the man there. So
the fun work.
yeah, the fun work. Yeah,
At
well, Dad sat there and
105
ate his nachos and
You
drank
grinded tires.
Yeah.
And you loved every bit of it.
Every
too,
bit
didn't
of
you?
it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep.
Nowadays, you look back and say, "Why would I wouldn't even do that if you paid me?"
Yeah, yep. And then Dad, he come over to East Moline a few times into Davenport and watch, and he's handing me tires. He's like, "Wow, how things have changed,"
So why the Sport Compact?
That I'll be honest. I was the guy that would make fun of the Sport Compacts. They were loud and obnoxious and didn't seem like they were going that fast. And Travis, he said he was going to get a good deal on 2 cars, and Hillary was pushing me to do it. So I said, all right, let's do it. We'll give it a whirl. And it took the first race. First time going out there, and I'm like, these cars aren't as slow as they look. You're actually moving pretty fast out there. And that's where we started. We started right there, and a whole different concept. Like I said, I raced the street stock, and I went into the very first corner and lifted and tapped the brake to try and set the car. And it went straight to the wall. And I was like, whoa, this is way different. Yep. And it's been a learning. It's been learning really, for me big time, because everything I had was back wheel drive. Mm-hmm. So it's been a big learning curve. And like I said, with Brandon Dahl, he showed us everything that we needed to know and made us very competitive. Travis and I both got our first feature wins this year.
Yeah.
So.
Right, yeah. Brandon Dahl and Kyle Hawkins, Travis Hawkins, pretty much inseparable.
Yeah. Yep.
We've seen pictures of the garage with all the cars sitting there. And and then there's one over here we're building.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, tell me about because one thing, and when I'm announcing or whatever, I try to comment on as you're going into the turns, and this usually East Moline, and the back wheels just stop. Talk about that concept.
That is that wheel stopping is me on the brake, is what that is. So when I'm going into the corner and you see that wheel stop, is me actually using the brake and the gas to get me around the corner. If you watch Friday's race at Davenport, that wheel doesn't stop. I wasn't using very much brake up there on the top.
That was all gas pedal.
Yeah, I was going pretty quick around the top there. And that's what that is. When it stops, it's just me on the brake.
So smaller cars, smaller tires and stuff like that. How do you decide whether to run top or bottom?
It's just like any other class. You have to watch the track. When it starts getting black slick, we go to the bottom. It's the only way for us to get traction around the top. You're too close. By the time that the guys have been out there and burned that off, we're way too close to run the wall. So we stuff her down on the bottom. And if it's a tacky track, heavy track, my silver car can run anywhere. My black car is a bottom car.
So now that we've talked about the hobby stock future, what is the future?
And
the hobby stock future, there is a joke on this, and we'll probably get into it here.
I got it on my notes.
I jumped the gun. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'd like to. We were actually joking around, and when Andy Nazarski, he's a good friend of ours, he put his car up for sale. I was kicking around buying that and jumping straight
right to late model.
Right
there's
to
been
late
people
model.
that have done it. So I can think of a few that are very successful.
And I decided that I wanted to at least win a feature at the time. I hadn't won a feature, and then once I got the feature, now I want to win a championship in it before I move up. So we're hoping next year. I really would like to pull off a championship race, and if I do, I will probably move up, probably go into a hobby stock or a street stock. and then from there,
Not going straight to a late model, huh?
No, I don't know. I better get some more
Well.
experience under my belt before I get in there with those big guys, because I don't want to be the guy that's bouncing off of them and in the way. So, but yeah, definitely want to be a late model. I'd like to travel and be a late model driver.
Yeah.
Try
Awesome.
and make a career out of it would be ideal.
You have these guys you're talking about racing, Davenport, Moline, going down to Peoria and all that, and those guys come up here too, the Dutlingers, and we saw a little bit of Matt Mackey and that kind of thing. What's the difference in the cars between theirs and up here?
The biggest one was I'm not sure, but the locked front ends. I think they can run locked front ends down there, and under what I thought we couldn't run locked front ends. And then we ended up finding out halfway through the year that we could. But the other thing is, I think they can run a stagger, so a bigger left or right front tire than a left front tire, where we have to have the same on the front and the back. So our back has to be the same size, and the front has to be the same size side to side.
Right.
So they can have their stagger different, and their camber. I believe they can have their wheels turned in a lot further or out a lot further than what we can, and it makes a big difference on a track. Brandon was the one that actually taught me. He said, don't go making your car as fast as it can go. You've got to be able to turn.
You got to be able to put what you got on the ground.
Yep.
So
And that was the biggest thing. He taught me how to get the car to turn, and that was it. The Eclipse, we actually put a lot of money into performance, into the car, trying to get the car faster when it wasn't the car being fast.
Yeah.
It didn't corner.
Got to get it around the racetrack.
Got to get it around.
We're going to talk about the hobby stock story here in a second. We were laughing about that. Hey, we're in the studio here at Dunright TV and Security Systems on West Locust Street, and of course Kelly Jeffries, mastermind behind Dunright.tv, but also Dunright TV and Security. Got some things. And he's got these in stock. It's
hey, you want me to model it?
yeah, you model it. the Google Nest doorbell.
Nope,
And I don't know. I know nothing about these products, but he's got some of these and this kind of stuff. And another thing that's been going well is the exterior OTA antennas. If you're a cord cutter like I am, I cut the cord and we got the exterior antenna, and then doing streaming and all that. He's got that too, and he's got a bigger one as well. He's got good prices on these, so check it out.
I have that one in my house that I bought right here, and it does work great.
Great. It says 35-mile radius.
Yep.
So, and we get good things on ours also. I don't have one of these. I have a smaller one, but we're going to go to the bigger exterior antenna as well. But he's got all of that in stock, so check it out. And I was going to memorize the phone number, and I forgot. Just look it up on the page, the Facebook page for Dunright. And then we're using for Kyle's microphone at one of the Ring stick-up cam plugins, and that's good stuff as well. You can just stick the camera up outside, and all works on an app. So check it out. And Jesse Owen says thank you for all you guys do for racers and the fans, and thank you for putting on some good shows for us, Jesse. And again, congratulations on your championship. But anyway, lots of products. Come down and bug the girls down here in the office, and Misty and Jen, they'll help you out, or give them a call what you need. Also, Metronet Internet, and of course he's a Dish TV dealer as well, and was Smart Home Retailer of the Year for Dish TV for 2019.
And if you want to know what he sells, just look at his motorhome that he has plenty of pictures on, because he has, I think, every product on that motorhome. So
And that motorhome is decked out with everything.
It is decked
we
out
were
with
sitting
everything.
out in the middle of nowhere, Florida, this past weekend, and he's got the Dish going,
Yep.
and he's got the Nest doorbells and the Ring doorbells and all that, and so fantastic stuff. So he's got it all right here in the shop. Also, 1414 West Locust Street. They're open 8 to 4, 8 to 5, 8 to 6. And Misty and Jen will help you out as well. I want to get to our history lesson for today. This was kind of cool. I went back into the archives, and this was June 1st, 2006. And one of the guys we mentioned before in the hobby stocks, Brian Wiseman, was driving a V8 modified back then out at Hawkeye Raceway in Bluegrass. He'd place first or second each time he'd race this season to this point, and he blew away the competition this night, June 1st, 2006 at Hawkeye Raceway. Won the 15-lap feature. Car was illegal. They checked it.
That happens every now and again.
It does. Gary Krenz Jr. awarded the win after Brian Wiseman was DQ'd that night, June 1st, 2006. 15-lap B-Mod feature. Boy, Doug Burkhead, we saw him with a couple good wins this season.
He did.
And he won that night 1 week after he rolled his car. So he won June 1st, 2006 at Bluegrass. Jeff Norton won the Dwarf 15-lap feature. And here's, in fact, we'll give away the hat. We'll give away the Concrete Services placing hat. If you can tell me who the IMCA modified points leader was at Bluegrass, June 1st, 2006, he won his 6th feature of the season this night. So just hit me up on Facebook and hit me up on Facebook. So June 1st, 2006, the IMCA modified points leader, who also this night won his 6th feature of the season out at Hawkeye Raceway in Bluegrass. Street stock class that night, Brad Tyler won, and Steve Boyle won the 4-cylinder class. So again, that's back in history, June 1st, 2006. If you can tell me who the IMCA modified feature winner and points leader was that night, we got a hat for you, courtesy of Kyle Hawkins, his lovely wife, and Concrete Services Placing's got it right on the side. And the elephant, tell the story about the elephant.
The elephant is Big Gray here to stay, and it's concrete. So
Yeah.
so it's Big Gray Elephant is what they came up with that. So
Cool.
Hey, got some guesses coming in. Jerry Mackey guessed Rick Wages. That's not correct. Sandy Lamar guessed Mike Loof. That's a great guess, but it's not correct. And Kevin Schroeder said Shane Davis. Nope. Shane was out of the race car, I think, by then.
He was probably promoting at that point out there.
He may have been. Hey, Safe Grafke from Dirt and Asphalt Podcast. Appreciate you tuning in. And I'll give you a hint. He has a feature win in 2020. This guy, he was won his 6th feature.
Well, that
of
takes
the
mine
season.
out. That takes Mike. I was going to guess Ronnie Wheaton because he would have been modified about that time, and
Right.
so that takes mine out because he didn't win this year.
Nope. And so 2006, he won the feature event at Hawkeye Raceway in Bluegrass, June 1st. It was his 6th feature win. And another clue is that he had a modified feature win, sport mod feature win this season. And it wasn't Jim Sandusky. Nice. That's a good guess though, Brandon Jewell. It was not Jim Sandusky. We'll give you some more clues a little bit later. And so, okay, tell the hobby stock story. Yeah.
So I got thinking that Thursday night, it would have been a Friday night. That Sunday was our cheaters night, and I was thinking, I might ask Corey over there if on Saturday if he'd let me run with them. So Saturday we went and raced, and I asked him, and he said absolutely. He said that sounds like fun. So I kept it from my brother. I kept it from everybody that I was going to do this, and it was going to be a surprise, and it was going to be fun. And Sunday I go to check in, and Corey actually says, hey, I might not be able to let you do it because then we'll have people jumping all over the place,
Which ended up happening.
Yeah, and I
imagine that.
And I told him, I said, people jumping down is one thing, but I'm going to jump up.
Right.
And he said, I'll actually let that go. He said, that sounds like a plan. I'll only let people go up a class. And I missed the heat race. So that way I'd start in the back. I didn't want to be in anybody's way. And just in case they were a lot faster than what they looked. And when I go to line up and I've got 4 other 4-cylinder drivers lining up with me, I'm like,
they figured it out.
I had a couple guys coming up asking me if I bought a hobby stock. And I said, oh no, they must have messed up the lineup. And the one guy, Brandon Schneider, comes up, and we're on the golf cart for the drivers meeting, and said it. And I'm sitting there like, my brother's right next to me, and he doesn't know, what I'm planning. And so Travis pulls up the MyPass app, and I look at it, and he's still on the night before. And he's like, oh, you're not on there. And I'm like, yeah, see, I don't know what he's talking about. And then it wasn't an hour later, and he comes running over to me. He's like, you are on the list. What's going on here? And he thought I bought one, and my dad was on his way to the race, and he thought for sure that dad was bringing the hobby stock that I just bought. And it, it didn't. We ended up coming out after our race, and I think I was more excited to race with the hobby stocks than mine. I come out of ours and I go to the right, and my brother pulls up next to me, and I'm like, it's cheaters night. There's no tech tonight. And he's like, oh yeah, I know. He's like, I'm just making sure you're all right. I said, yeah, I'm good. So he goes to take off. I put my helmet and everything back on, and I go line up behind the hobby stock.
Well, and that opened up once everybody figured out what you're doing.
Story.
That opened up the door. I had people, can I run? Can I do this? Man, I got to change line. I was changing lineups all night. Finally, I did. They come up the race before. I'm like, I got to cut it. I can't let you. I mean, they're getting ready to go out. I can't let you get in now.
Yeah, this was over at the bull ring. He was talking to Corey Peterson about it and all that. But what a great story.
Yeah, and the best part about it is there was even officials that were saying, well, yeah, next year the hobby stocks ought to be great because Kyle Hawkins has got one coming. And I'm like, no, I really don't think he's got one coming.
No,
but we'll go on.
As of right now, no, but it could be a long
who
winter.
knows?
I could end up throwing one together.
Never know. Well, and that's a class that's growing. I really like it.
Yep.
And I think we ended up with 10 different ones over at East Moline, and they were hoping for 12, but I know there was 2 to 4 others in garages, and the Coles got a bunch, and and Daniel Waters hooking up with Daryl Ward, and I do believe that as a class, as long as they keep it IMCA, keep those rules.
Keep the rules.
Yeah,
Yep.
good.
Yep, I agree. I don't want to see him getting rid of it because I would like to move up and then end up getting into that.
Well, and I told Corey all year long, I'm like, just give it time. Your first year is going to be hard. But I still believe it even to this day that anybody that picks them up, I know Columbus Junction's grabbing them. It's going to be a struggle the first year, but I really do believe that is one of the most buildable classes there is right now.
Yep.
Because of the racing. I mean, look at what it's produced. Look at the Fall Bash. Both nights hobby stocks were there. Strong finishes.
Yep.
Last lap passes. CJ Davenport, last lap passes are fighting for it on the last lap. So, I mean, it's exciting racing. So,
Yeah, and Safe Grafke again from Dirt and Asphalt Podcast chimes in Columbus Junction in a great hobby stock class Saturday night. They did. They had a bunch of tracks represented. Now they'll be running them on Friday. And then I don't think Lee County runs hobby. They don't run hobby stocks, but Marshalltown does. So it's
Marshalltown, and they get
CJ.
a billion of them.
And they get a billion.
Marshalltown.
Yeah. So I think just Marshalltown and CJ. And I already saw Cody Staley running hobby stock down at CJ on Saturday night. So I think there's plenty. Hey, we have a winner. Sandy Lamar, you are absolutely right. Kevin Gobin.
Okay.
Yeah. He won his 6th feature of the year on June 1st, 2006 out at Hawkeye Raceway, was the point leader. And he won a sport mod feature at East Moline this year. So that was fun. So Sandy, we got this hat for you right here. It'll be right at the front desk at Dunright. Stop in during regular business hours and we'll get that to you. Safe. We knew that Lee County didn't run hobby stocks. I've only been down there a dozen times this year. You think I remember it? I know what screwed me up. I think because Darkside ran them. Darkside ran them for the spring fling when they ran it. So that's what got me messed up. Hey, future for Kyle Hawkins and Travis Hawkins and Brandon Dahl but mostly Kyle Hawkins.
We're gonna do the same next year. We're gonna stay in sport compacts. Like I said, I'd like to get a championship win and just as much as Travis. So there's definitely going to be 2 battlers there battling it out. I know that for sure. But as far as that's where we're at. I know I want to take it up and beyond. I know Travis, not so much. I think he's probably going to stick in sport compacts. It's just, he's so busy with what he's got going on that the higher you go, the more you're working on it. I'm already working on mine every day.
I can't get into my house to give me an estimate. He's so damn busy right
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he do?
It's a
242
home improvement.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And just after the derecho, he has just been slammed.
Oh, I bet.
Slammed. And
I'm
still
waiting on 2 roofs. So
yeah. Yep. And he's still slammed. And this good weather is only making it worse for him too.
I bet.
Everybody's trying to get it done before the winter.
Well, I think you guys are going to have a good class next year. You know, I know in talking to Duttlinger, he's actually talking about buying or renting a shop up here so that he doesn't have to haul the car
There you
back and
go.
forth. So he's talking about racing weekly up here. I think you're going to have a real stout
Yep.
class, and we had pretty stout class this year.
It
to
was,
race with,
it
so.
was this year. We had between 20 and 30 on a regular
Yeah.
basis over at the bull ring, and
And
same
in Davenport.
at
every year, so.
Davenport.
Yep. And Aaron Hitt, he just built himself
Yeah.
a 4-cylinder
Saw
car.
that. Where did he come up with number 48?
I was talking to Brandon, and he is a Jimmy Johnson fan, which I haven't talked to him after I talked to Brandon on Saturday, but that is also my favorite driver. It was sad to watch it yesterday, him retiring, but watching Chase Elliott win it was awesome.
Yeah, see, they're young enough. They haven't gone through retirements like we have.
Yeah, man.
That's right.
All my favorites retired probably before you were born. So
I was always a Richard Petty fan.
Yep.
growing up.
Yep. So was my dad.
And then all the guys from around here, you had Terry Ryan, and Don White, and
Tom Hurst was always one of my favorite, and Terry Hurst up in the Dubuque area. And
Sure. And we're talking NASCAR, there was a lot of guys that got the opportunity from here.
Yeah.
That they got to go down, and there are still some. We talk about Dale Fishline all the time, and I had a great season again with Kevin Harvick and that kind of thing. Hey, birthday time. The birthdays this past week. Hey, today, Don Vanderhayden and Gary Prohl both had birthday. I know you've had some battles with Mr. Prohl.
Yeah, with Nick. Yep.
Nick and Gary, happy birthday to you. Let's see. And that was today. Also this week, just checking, and my computer doesn't want to cooperate with birthdays today. Kim Abbott, there's a good 4-cylinder driver from down the Quincy, Illinois area. She celebrated a birthday this week. Also, our own Sonny from Dunright, he had a birthday this week, along with Bruce Yeager from the Heirs class. And
he's another hobby stock guy from that period of time. Know that your dad was racing.
Was it?
Towards the end of that, but
yep, he did hobby stocks back in that time.
Yep.
And let's see, Roberta Gottschalk, who was around Randy Byerly and that kind of things. Happy birthday. The great Dick Schultz, late model driver. That was one that I watched growing up, with Dick Schultz, the familiar white number 97. He had a birthday. Justin Velos had a birthday here recently. Let's see. Max Nimrick also had a birthday. Joe LaFrenz had a birthday on November 1st. So congratulations to Joe on his birthday. And let's see. Shelley Barnes scored down at Peoria Speedway, also had a birthday this week. So if you celebrated a birthday, happy birthday to you. And we like doing that every week. Calendar coming up for Team Dunright. Again, the Roberts cars, hopefully they're looking at the MLRA schedule, getting ready for Lucas Oil MLRA again next year, but I think their season completed. Tyler Soppy, probably pretty much done as well. It really had a great end of the season. As far as production, we are off this weekend. That's going to be hard to take.
Yeah.
But next weekend, we're heading to a track I've always wanted to go to, but never been able to. Screven Motorsports Park in Sylvania, Georgia. We will be there for the Georgia State Outlaw Championships on November 20th and 21st. So Kelly and I will be that direction, and then again on November 28th. Just signed this one today. The Turkey Nationals down at Diamond Park Raceway down in Nashville, Arkansas, on November 28th to round out the month. So, hey, sir, thanks for coming in.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me, man. This is fun. I've never done nothing like this before. So
that's what I said the first time. They keep inviting me back.
Hey, come back anytime. Last week we had a great conversation with Tegan and Darren Evans, and
watch that.
We just come in and have a fun time, talk some racing. Can't really beat it.
No. I was pretty nervous, and Hillary's like, "You'll be fine. Just be you." I'm
That's exactly what we expected. So that's awesome, sir. As always, thank you.
Thank you.
And see you next Monday, I hope. And
sure.
Yeah, we'll get that on. And
I'm not busy doing it unless Ryan Doom calls me. I'm not busy doing anything else. So.
yeah, really. Well, if Ryan calls you, then we're
Right,
all,
yeah, we're all busy.
Yep,
Now,
we
you
are.
know, I did joke about Dark Side in the Dome, and it's got a real catchy ring to it.
I
So you never
commented
know.
on that. I thought that would be pretty neat. I know
There is a dome around here that's not doing anything. If we can figure out how to open up part of Illinois, so
Yeah, but and that's the part, and that was pretty, and that was pretty sad too, because last year we did a couple of the ice shows for Ken and Christy Reamer, and they can't.
Well, yeah,
get
and the
anything
St. Louis
scheduled.
Dome race is done.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just.
Yep,
I'm really hoping this isn't a prelude of what's going to happen in 2021, because even though we all made it work, it still was.
Yeah, I hope we get
took
a
a
lot
chunk.
more racing in.
Definitely. And a couple real quick, Jimmy Cummins says driver of the year, Ryan Doom, out of retirement and scored a track championship at Davenport.
And as it says, track championships don't mean nothing if you're listening, Ryan Doom.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Oh, and Safe Grafke from the Dirt and Asphalt podcast says the legendary Pokey West Hot Lap Sport Compact at CJ on Saturday. Cool.
West, okay.
Yeah, Pokey was yellow number 92 when I was growing up. Josh Riley says always fun racing with Kyle Hawkins.
Yep, he is fun too, man. He had a big win, 2 wins right in a row there, Davenport and East Moline. That was fun.
Well, and that's why I say you guys are going to be stout next year. You were stout this year, but I think it's going to be even more next year, because I think if we get to race all our races, everybody's going to be on their game quicker.
Yep, I
I
agree.
mean, when you don't start racing till June, almost July, you're at the end of the season by the time you figure everything out.
Yep,
So
yep, I agree. Yeah, it's going to be some tough competition next year, I think, in the sport compacts.
One guy just chimed in and says Kyle hits me every time he gets on the racetrack. I'm the one person he just likes hitting for some reason. Oh, that's Travis.
I mean, we talked about that in Peoria. We're the roughest guys there, I think.
you just looked like your bumper was loose. He was going to see if he could tighten it back up. Come on.
His brother Travis Hawkins says that. And Chris Smith says Kyle Hawkins is my idol.
Thanks, man. He actually calmed me down one night at the race when I kind of got pushed into a tire and ended my night. I was a little upset, and he come over and he was calming me down. Thank you for that, man.
But well, thanks again for coming in.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it,
much.
sir. We'll see you next week, and the checker flag is out. And Brett goes, "Yeah, I guess."
Hey, I only live 5 blocks from here. I mean, all I got to do is put some clothes on.
There you go. Well, for Brett Severson and Kyle Hawkins, I'm Rob Hinckley. God bless. Remember, we always see the racing victory lane, but remember, the real victory lane is heaven and his son, Jesus Christ. We will see you next Monday on the Go Fast podcast. Good night, everybody. Gotta go click off. We're here.
Yeah, don't say anything incriminating yet.